Greetings, sacred beings, ancient souls. Welcome back to a spiritual joint where we talk about all things spiritual, which is any and everything. So, I'm a little late. Just wanted to talk about this daylight savings time thing that we go into right now. Most of us are back into the normal, regular time that we are supposed to be in, even though we know time is a construct, but it's just in a manner of speaking. We are back to the actual reality of time, we shall say. So, we have gone back, we fall back, and in the spring we spring forward. So this thing happens twice a year in some places, and so glad to be in a place where it doesn't happen because it wreaks havoc on us, even though many of us do not even realize. But what happens is, supposedly, to maximize daylight hours during World War I, they decided to move, in a air quote sense of move time back. There's a, based on the time that we use, there's a definite time period that we have for how we function, seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years, etc. So it's not like they changed anything. They didn't add anything, subtract anything. They just rearranged what we thought would be 1 hour to have it be another hour, so that based on the time, air quotes, that they were doing things, that there would be more daylight. It's just simple, just get up an hour earlier. But anyway, so supposedly it was supposed to help with supporting commerce and leisure and business, and supposedly to conserve energy. And we did this for World War I. We did it for World War II. And actually what tends to happen is that in the springtime for Northern Hemisphere, the autumn for the Southern Hemisphere, there actually tends to be a slowing down of productivity, that we do not get as much engagement as usual. And for those of you who pay attention, you may notice that the hours of daylight are a little wonky for a few days in either season when they do this thing to us. And that even though it's supposedly supposed to be beneficial for economics, it is not always working out that way, because sometimes there happen to be either more or less injuries or health issues or traffic incidents that tend to be linked to this change of time, which results in a loss of paper around close to 700 million. So, initially, before we started doing these things, before there were so-called clocks and whatnot, we moved to the rhythm of the planet. We moved in alignment with the actual seasons, when you could see something is happening. In spring, which is when the new year starts, in spring, you can see that life is coming forth. Animals are coming out of hibernation. The ones that hibernate, the birds start becoming more active. They're more noise, more chirping. You see the green leaves growing on the plants, the flowers are growing, and all of these things are happening. That is when the new year happens, not in the dead of winter, because even though they say January 1st is the start of the new year, but around December 22nd, 23rd is when winter starts. So how could it possibly be the new year if winter just started about 10 days prior? It's another thing, we'll talk about it another time, but that's just, it makes no sense if you're paying attention. It's more obvious in places where there are more definitive seasons. You can really tell that, it's not really the beginning of the year, because nothing is growing. In the dead of winter, what is growing? Nothing is growing. It's cold, it's gray, and it's just not conducive to newness, brightness, new life, beginnings, and all of those things that New Year's are about. So, we actually have something that's called the circadian rhythm, which is how our body is able to connect and know how to wake up and when to go to sleep, and it's ingrained in our body. It's programmed into our body. When we are in sync with the universe, in sync with what is happening around us, you'll notice these things. You'll notice that when you are moving in the rhythm of the planet, that you feel better, your organs work better, you're energized, you are able to, things just flow in a better manner. But when we're not inside of this thing, when we're not functioning in alignment with everything as was designed initially, when we are not flowing with that, when we have to use alarm clocks to get up, when we have to depend on these external things to help us to function, things become a little, I'll say it again, wonky. I like that word for some reason. But anyway, I digress. So we have our rhythm is off, and it wreaks havoc on our body. And then we do this twice a year. And why are we still doing it? Why? What is the point? Because like I said, there's a set cycle that we go through. You're not adding or subtracting. You're just rearranging, moving things back or forth depending on which season it is. So you should write to your people to get them to, it's been on the, as far as the states are concerned, it's been mentioned, brought up numerous times, and it was supposed to happen this year, but because it supposedly has to have some type of federal permission, it hasn't taken place yet. There are a few places around the planet who don't do it. Loving being in one of those places that does not do it. It's just so much easier to not have to worry about it. But you have to play little games with the people who do, because, if you speak to places or talk to people in those places, you have to make adjustments. But, just do the best that you can to stay in alignment. Just work towards getting back to earth time, getting back to water time, getting back to the real And just wanted to talk about that briefly, so we can realign ourselves back to what is true, what is right. And that is what we have for today. We will be back soon. Hope everybody enjoyed. Peace.